Hello and welcome to the Mecaniquesportive YouTube channel. I'm Nicola. Today I'm introducing the R5 with the smallest battery. Yeah, we tried the best version, the iconic one. I also showed you a tech version, but with the big battery and the 150 horsepower. This time I chose the 120 horsepower small battery version for you, which is the most affordable option. But be careful, just a little info like that. Sometime in June, in a few weeks, you'll be able to order the version with the small engine and small battery. So the version starting at 25,000 euros. Just as Renault promised us. Yeah, it's coming, finally. So sometime in June 2025. This one is a techno version with 120 horsepower. Small battery. So the small battery is what they call urban range. Then there's the long range. We're talking about 40 kilowatt hours. We're talking about 52 kilowatt hours on the biggest battery. So 12 kilowatt hours may not sound like much, but in a small car, it adds 100 kilometers of range. It can make a difference, but the goal today, my goal especially for you, is to do a 100% battery test at as close to 0% as possible while still trying to get home. So we'll take a long stretch on the highway. I still have some battery left and I'll finish it. I paused during the loop from 100 to 0 to present this car. Because, look, it's 26 degrees in the sun. It's really hot. It feels like summer, even though it's the end of April. Yeah, end of April, still really nice. It feels good, the sun, the warmth. Anyway, in white like this, it stands out. And I admit that I told you I liked white. And, well, I confirm it. I really like this white, which I think. I saw it side by side with the A290 Alpine. I think it's the same white. If anyone knows if it's exactly the same or not, let me know. I tried to find out, but I couldn't find the information. But they look a lot alike, and clearly, here, this accessible version. We'll see how it turns out. As usual, I'll do all kinds of roads for you, from small winding ones, technical ones, acceleration, 0 to 100. In short, a super comprehensive test. And we'll talk about fuel consumption and, above all, a real-life test. It's not just a journalist thing where we only drive around 70, though that might be interesting. I think we could exceed 300 kilometers if we stuck to small roads at 70, but I'm giving you a mix here. I didn't check my total kilometers, but I drove 70 to 80 kilometers at 130 km/h nonstop, plus some small roads and some stretches at 110 and 90 on the ring road. In short, real-world use of a car. Let's quickly go back over the three engines. That's 95 horsepower, then 120 horsepower, and 150 horsepower. These small batteries are 40. Big batteries are 52. This car is 3 meters 92 long, 1 meter 77 wide, and 1 meter 50 high. As for the weight, it's 1,350 kilos for this small battery. 1,450 kilos. So that's still about 100 kilos more for the big battery. You can tow up to 500 kilos, which is actually pretty good. We offer 3 styles of 18-inch rims, and you can also get the disco hubcaps each time. Here we have optional rims. Since this is a techno version, we picked a few little options, like these rims here. The two-tone paint, which is around 650 euros. The little stickers here, 5. I think that's included in the techno pack. And then inside we have all the driving aids and so on. The jeans interior, which is pretty cool, and I have to admit I prefer this one over the iconic yellow version, which had a bit of a weird yellow interior. I find the jeans much nicer. Like other small city cars, it has a turning diameter of 10.3 meters, which is impressive. A ground clearance of 14.5 centimeters, which means it can go up curbs pretty easily, it goes over speed bumps smoothly, and so on. We have a 326-liter trunk, which I'll show you again soon. We'll talk about charging at the charging station, since I'll take you to the charging station at the end. It's a car that comes in several types of trims. There's the Evolution as the entry-level model starting at 25,000 euros, followed by the Techno, Iconic, and a Roland Garros version coming soon. We have 0 to 100 in under 8 seconds on the most powerful version. I don't have the data for this one, but it's enough. It's available in white, yellow, green, and black. I like the white and yellow ones. I'm not a fan of the green, it's too much. The black one is very discreet. This car includes a heat pump, an acoustic windshield, and a charge indicator on the Techno version. On other versions, the indicator is hidden and not available on all models. The two-tone, the assists, etc. As I said, I won't repeat the look since I've already shown it to you in the Geneva studio. During the test drives, I showed you the green one. If you search Renault 5 and mecaniquesportive, you'll find detailed test drives, even the videos of the screens where I made ultra-detailed videos. To revisit, when you turn it on, the small lights here display a light signature with bars showing battery information, plus the little wink when it starts up. The logo here is Pretty Arrow. Everything is closed off, and at the bottom there's a small, nicely painted ventilation grill. We just have a small plastic part here, and the wheel arch is here in plastic, along with the side skirts, and the big rims that are honestly really nice. We have tires that have good road grip, but at the same time are good for saving money. They don't have too much grip, so normally this kind of tire also has a pretty long lifespan. On the side, to open the back, you just open these handles here like a fridge. The little shark fin up there and on the back. Okay, come on, I'll take you to the back anyway. We made the right choice. This rear three-quarter view looks great and stylish. These lights remind me of the old R5 Turbo. The strip here, 5 marked there, everything's painted and looks great. The rear window is heavily tinted and the strip goes all around the car. The rear view camera is hidden here in this little diffuser. All of that is well designed. And the trunk, as I was saying, has a capacity of 326 liters. Here, for example, I have my charging cables for home, plus my charging cables to use at charging stations on the street. These cables always take up some space, but that's essentially what it looks like. I'm going to put them nicely to the side. Because I know, don't move, because when I don't do it, I swear, I get scolded. Some of you say to me, Nico, didn't you do it? I'm framing it well. There. Ike. There you go. You can see that it's still very deep there. Here, hop 326 liters. I left my cables, bags, and jacket. Everything fits. With the cables, that's 326 liters. There's some space. It's not an SUV, but it feels great to have a small, compact car instead of trying an SUV. With the little shells there on each side, we have lots of little touches like that. I already talked to you about that in other videos. We have the bench seat that folds down 2/3, 1/3. There's still top tether and ISOFIX attachments, a small hard rear shelf, an LED, and hooks for your bags on both sides. In short, simplicity. And that's what we like. Don't move, I'll take care of you. There we go. Let's remove the polarizing filter. And I'll switch to wide angle for you. There you go. Let's go take a look inside. All right, in the back seats, I put it in the shade because it was hot. Door here, all plastic. Well, it's a bit worked on, but it's more of a car for people in the front. But we still have 5 seats. So Nicholas, 6 feet tall when he sits here. Nicholas was a little cramped, though. So if I sit up straight, my head hits the back here, like I already showed you. I admit, that's not very comfortable. Even if I raise my headrest here, actually, my head hits the ceiling directly. I won't even reach the headrest. Otherwise, I have to sit like this. But that's not very cool. It's not a great position for your back. So if I sit like this, I'll at least have to move my head forward. All right. We'll make do. As for the knees, it's a tight fit. The front seat is set for me, and I adjusted this one, too. Honestly, it's just barely enough. The windows don't open all the way down, but there you go. So you can't rest your elbow. That's a bit of a shame. I would have really liked it to go all the way down. It's simple, efficient, and works for getting around the city. We have a flat floor, but something still rises behind the seats, so I can't put my feet in the middle. So the person who sits in the middle here will really have to put their feet on the sides. If you're a little taller here, you end up touching a bit. And here, since the backrest is more curved than that, it's more curved. So I'm even higher, and here, I'm more forward, so it brings me forward. And this time, I'm really touching the seats. Well, you can still sit in the back. 5 adults in this car, but I have to admit that for tall adults, it might be a little tight in the back. But still, we have this nice texture, a jeans effect plus fabric here. It's very nice. It's pleasant. The seats are firm but not uncomfortable. We still have some side support. Basically, the basics with 2 pockets here. And no air conditioning. Open the rear windows quickly if it gets hot, since the front ones are farther away. Come on, as usual, I'll take you for a little tour of the car. Here's what it looks like with the small lights on. So, it just turned off because I have the key in my pocket. So, I stepped a little away from the car. So it thinks it needs to lock itself. So it locked itself. That's what it looks like. Ah, an electric car. A walk around the car. The rims make it stand out, giving it style with flared hips that highlight the shape. White often doesn't look as good. I have to admit, I like it on this car. It looks simple, yet still has some style. I have to admit, I actually prefer the yellow. All right, when I get closer, hop, it unlocks. I pull the handle and I get right in there. Hop. The opening animation is great. I really like it. These seats are styled after the R5 Turbo featuring a prominent H pattern. This style, design, and denim effect, including on the headrests and the quilted roof, are truly beautiful. I lost €1. Maybe it'll bring me luck later. The doors. We also find the jeans texture here, but otherwise everything else except for the small part at the bottom and here. Then we have some pretty basic plastics. And the controls here, which we find on the new Renaults, are quite simple but classy, understated, and work well. Our 5 floor mats, double pedals, big footrest, and you can see that we still have a thick layer here, really between the inside of the car and the outside, with the little skirts here. All right, I'm going to get inside. There we go, I'm closing it. And went with my foot on the brake and here. Okay, the animation started again, but this time it launched quickly because I pressed the button. If I move back or if I'm tall, that's how it looks. The steering wheel, we know it. The driving aids on this side, the menus and everything, like changing the music, volume, and so on. It's there, but the volume is lagging as usual with Renault. And we have the same issue here. And here, you can navigate through the menus up there right here. I'm not giving you the information right away because the point is for you to watch the video and really understand what's going to happen. We still have the gear lever here to change gears. On this side is the lights and turn signals. And here, so we have 3 things. We have for the sound, the windshield wipers, and this, the gear lever. We have a nice screen here with great visibility, even in full sunlight, and a second screen on this side. This is the R5 style. 2 panels, an angled screen, air vents, and a small light strip here. With the iconic, the logo appears there, if I recall correctly. Up there, we have pretty basic plastic like here, but honestly, it does the job. This also recalls the old plastic texture of the R5, but now it's denim. The stitching is very nice and the texture feels pleasant. Actually, when I see it, I think, wow, it's beautiful, it's high quality. Even when I touch it, it's warm and feels good. The steering wheel also has the same stitching and perforations. It's really high quality. The multi-sense lets you select driving modes. So here, for example, I have Eco, Sport, so it changes the colors for me. Same on the screen over there. I'll also have the personal mode, where I can customize my colors. All that. Comfort mode will be the standard setting, and you can find and customize these modes and screens here. I've already made videos about this, including the block limb here. Here, parking brake, a small storage compartment, the auto hold, cigarette lighter, 2 USB-C ports, wireless charger, R5 reminder, storage pocket with cup holder, and a simple armrest with a small storage compartment. I just lost my filter. It just fell down while I was tapping. Bad luck. I don't know if I'll find it again. And the glove box here, very small. Pretty simple. There you go. On the other hand, the door pockets are really tiny. Almost ridiculous, I would say. Honestly, look, they have no depth at all. They only have this much depth, and I have to admit, that's a shame. But if I want to put things here, since there's not much storage in this car except for this small central part. At the top, a pretty simple rear-view mirror. The LEDs up there are touch-sensitive to turn on the lights. And here, we have a nice white LED with the mirror. Right here are the card holders, the Save Our Souls button, and overall simplicity. Still, this car has everything we need. Anyway, now let's go. We're going from 100% to 0%. We'll see how many kilometers we can cover considering total consumption and real mixed use. Not just daily city driving, but a combination of uses. And honestly, it would hold up very well, but I'm going to push this thing a little further after all. Come on, let's go! Well, here we go with this Renault and... drive! It's charged to 100%. I've reset all the counters and it's showing me with 100% charge exactly 300 kilometers. What I like is that this car shows you the real numbers. It says that if you only drive in the city, it can go 310 kilometers. If you do a little mix, 300. If you only drive on the highway, I'll only do 170 kilometers. At 130 kilometers per hour from 100 to 0%. Don't forget, every time it tells you up to 0%. And at 0%, that's a bad idea. On the highway, you'll drive 150 kilometers at 130 kilometers per hour. I'll mix things up a bit and we'll test it out. The air conditioning is off, but as usual, I set it to 21.5 when I can, or 21 if I can't. There, the vents downwards, like this. There we go, there we go. And so, here I go. As usual, I'm going to try to do the little loop to Fontainebleau here. Ah, my CarPlay got disconnected. There we go, it reconnected me. Now, it usually displays my CarPlay here. Great. Quiet the music. Today we have a Harman Kardon sound system, which is a real bonus. All right, let's speed up. Oh no, the light's yellow here. I hate this one. It's super long here too. So we're going to turn off the blinker. And now we're heading here to the Chateau de Fontainebleau. We have 68 kilometers, but we're going to take a bit more highway and such. I think I'll stay on the A6 and turn around again, hoping to find a charging station and see how much we actually get with this car. I think we'll get about 250 kilometers in mixed driving since we won't go down to 0. On the other hand, what's pretty funny? It's either me or a nearby car making mine resonate, but I feel like I can sense the air conditioning a little bit. And when you drive slowly, you can slightly hear the noises. But look, the seats hold you so well. They really feel like bucket seats from sports cars. Honestly, if you put these in a sports car, it would be amazing. It keeps you in place, and even at seat level, it's great. I like the jeans effect and the texture. The R5 has a unique look. I'm a big fan. I'll adjust my steering wheel like this since I prefer it. There, to have it a little closer to me for... There, you never know. It's a vibe. It's really a philosophy. I love this car. It has an incredible look with a little battery. For people who use it like that for city driving or not necessarily going too far, I think it's really, really good anyway. Come on, let's go. When I let off the brake, the car moves forward by itself. We have the noise, though, pedestrians, that we can hear up to 30 kilometers per hour. Then it passes. So that's the external noise. You know, that kind of spaceship sound, so I can hear it a little bit inside the cabin. That's a bit of a shame, because I have to admit I'm not really a fan. There, I can hear it a little bit again, but it's faint. If you put on some music, you don't hear it anymore. I have to admit I really like my electric car to be extremely quiet. Next, as for soundproofing, we'll see how it does on the road. In the city, it seems to be okay, but again, the windows are still pretty thin. Yeah, these ones are actually very, very thin. The environment is nice and the screens are good. I still have 120 horsepower, so we've got good acceleration. We still have the multi-sense, which allows us to have eco mode, standard mode, and sport mode. The turn signal is a little bit loud. I think I can adjust it normally if I'm not mistaken. At 30 km/h, it's an electric car, so top of the line. We have all the driving assistance features here. I have my adaptive cruise control. I have everything I need, sign recognition, and so on and so on. And when I stop, there, it's good. No sound, vibrations, or anything. We're doing well. We start again very gently. Here, the multi-sense, I'm in comfort mode. We'll leave it in comfort mode like this. We'll test eco mode and sport mode afterwards. We're taking some small winding roads. But remember, when I tried the big battery during the launch with the 150 horsepower version, I was really impressed by the chassis of this car. It was amazing on the narrow roads and in the Estoril mountain passes, I think. The chassis was incredible. Honestly, I had a lot of fun driving this car in a sporty way. It had just 150 horsepower, but still 150 horsepower. Back then, it was already somewhat of a grand touring injection. Even the 205 Grand Touring injection only had about 130 horsepower. So now we have more torque than back then, thanks to the electric motor. In this aspect, it's instant. So, that really brings to mind classic hot hatches with this amazing look. Anyway, for everyday driving, it's good. Let's be honest, it's a good, pleasant car. It's well finished. Honestly, in terms of style and everything, it's incomparable. At this price, for only slightly more than a Dacia Spring. For the upcoming 95 horsepower version, very soon, normally in a few weeks, it will be available in June. Normally, you'll be able to order it. It's unbeatable. Personally, I think it's really great. I'm going uphill at 50 kilometers an hour. No noise, no engine, and so on, since it's electric anyway. And even if I need to accelerate again here, going uphill, here we go. Hold on, I'm accelerating, I overtake. There you go, I surprise everyone. And it weaves through. That's the advantage of electric. Honestly, with any other gas-powered car, if you wanted to do that, impossible. So the big advantage of this kind of car is the responsiveness. The instant feel, the way it reacts. It has torque, power, everything you need. That clearly makes the difference. What I'm also going to do is mainly activate here that with the steering wheel, the level 2 autonomous driving, which is on this Techno version. With my adaptive cruise control, once it detects the lines on the straight, it works great. It's the car that takes care of everything. I no longer touch the pedals or the steering wheel, though you still need to keep your hands on the wheel. That's the law, but your feet, for example. Me, I trust cars 100% these days. When you're following another vehicle, you can hear the trucks a little bit, but that's normal. We're on a really steep hill here. That one was full of concrete. That's great. Pressing again increases it by 10 each time. It accelerates again smoothly and easily. And we reach 90 without any problem. It handles itself very well. For the city, it's just perfect. In short, the goal now is to hit the road. The most interesting part of this video is discovering the car's range, and I'll do a little bit at 70, 90 to check out the wind noise and all that. But I'll get back to you a little further down the road. That way, there will be about 90, 110, and 130. Next, a small country road. You can see the chassis because since it's the small battery, the car is lighter than with the big battery. We'll see if you can feel it a little, and if it's dynamic and easy to handle. My average is 13.9. And here I see that at 90, while staying steady, it's a slight uphill. I'm below 13.9. So now, this is going to be interesting with this car. Since it's light, it has a smaller battery, it's going to use less. Since it uses less, obviously, we're going to go a little bit farther. On the other hand, when it comes to regeneration, since it's lighter, we have less mass to slow down. Well, it recovers a little less than a bigger car, but it uses less energy, so it balances out a little as well. I'm eager to see how many kilometers I'll cover. I'm really going to try to go all the way to the bare minimum, hoping that my charging cards work. It really allows me to do a full-scale test. I just remembered, I ended up with 1 kilometer of range left when I tested the R5 and did a real mix of road, mountain, having fun, and so on. I was the only one and the first in the world to give you the real range test of the R5. That was crazy, that. It was incredible. I finished 1 kilometer away from the correct spot. That was really funny. They had to come pick me up and everything, because I had to return the car where we picked it up that morning. But actually, we weren't supposed to go there at all that evening. We were supposed to go 15 kilometers from there. I told myself I'd go all out to reach exactly 0%. And it wasn't the right place. It was really, really funny. Honestly, if you saw that video, I had a good laugh. But anyway, for now, let's keep going. All right, well, I'm going to stay at 90 for a while. I'm going to stick to 90 to really get a more realistic use of this car. When you have this small battery, you leave the city less often. Should I go straight to 110 and do 90 on the way back? Yes, I'll do 90 on the way back. I'm driving in the Paris region, taking the left lane at up to 110 km/h, and we'll see how it goes in real life. Yes, I'll do it like that. Actually, I want to drive without any restrictions. And tell myself, there you go. That way, you'll know that at the very least, we're capable of doing that. I set cruise control and switch to sign reading mode. It detects the speed limit as 110 and sets itself accordingly. Afterwards, we're in the Paris region. There are a few traffic jams and all that, but I'll get back to you as soon as the traffic is smoother, and it's 110 or 130. So I'm someone who likes statistics and round numbers. So right now I'm at 91% battery, and soon we'll be down to 90% battery. And so far I've done 31.8 kilometers. So that means 9%, 90, and exactly 32 kilometers. So with a full battery, I could theoretically go 320 kilometers in the conditions I've experienced so far. There you go. I kept coming back to that little thing unexpectedly, so it's quite surprising. Since earlier I've been going at 110, it must have been 15 kilometers that I've been at 110, and I have an average still at 13.6 kilowatt hours per 100, which is really very good. Now, once we reach the turn, we'll go up to 130 kilometers per hour for 8 kilometers, and we'll also see how it goes at 110. There's a bit of wind noise, but it's still good. Now let's accelerate to 130. Even the cruise control accelerates generously enough to settle at 130. At 130 km/h, there's some wind noise, honestly. You can hear it slightly, but it's reasonable. Don't forget that it's a small city car, compact, with prices that are still quite affordable for an electric car. You can hear a little bit of road noise, but it's honestly still pretty well controlled. I still have my driving aids. I let it settle itself. Honestly, it's pretty good. I have to admit, I really like this little R5. On the other hand, I see instant consumption. We're on a slight uphill slope. I'm running at around 20 to 25 kilowatt hours per 100 in real time. So my average has already gone up right away. Right now, I'm at 14, and I can feel it's going to go up quite a bit. Well, significantly, the consumption of energy. Because 130 kilometers per hour for electric cars still means a much higher consumption. It's almost squared. Compared to 110 km/h, the faster you go above 100 km/h, consumption will become increasingly exponential. That's really how it is. Other cars may be linear, but not this one. A Bentley Continental Grand touring with a W12 engine just passed by. Oh wow, but it's smooth. I really love it. Continental Grand Touring. In England, early models cost as little as 10,000 euros. It's pretty crazy. It's like the first Mercedes 600S and all that. It's pretty wild. 47. So you can see that the range adjusts right away. Also according to my driving in real time. She says that with that, you'll still do a bit less. On the highway, it says I have 140 kilometers of range left with 83%. If you're driving from Paris to Marseille on the highway, I wouldn't recommend this small battery. Take the bigger one, or if you take this, don't exceed 110 kilometers per hour. In my opinion, at 110 kilometers per hour, you could still travel a good distance. Our average was about 13.5. We're taking a long trip, but we don't exceed 110 kilometers per hour. Here's the little ticket, we close it, and now I can do the 0 to 100 for you. Ready? Go. All right, pedal to the metal. 16, 28, 41, 53, 72, 80, 93, 100. That's honestly pretty good. The 120 horsepower is definitely present. So, I'm not saying it's amazing, but it works really well. Here we go, 13, 130. I keep going like this. The average is now 15.3 kilowatt hours per 100. We'll see how it goes. I still have 209 kilometers left. Yeah, I'll keep going like this until I turn around. After that, it tells me to take small loops through the countryside. I usually set ways to avoid tolls, so it's now trying to get me off quickly to avoid them. So I just reached 50% battery. I've done 105 kilometers, and earlier we said we were around 45 kilometers before the end of the highway. So from 45 to 105 here, that's 60 kilometers at 130 kilometers per hour nonstop. And I'm waiting to drop to 49%, so I can tell you exactly what 10% on the highway corresponds to. Because I had 26 kilometers left an hour before the upcoming exit, and I was at 59%. 49%, 9.6. 16 kilometers at 130 kWh uses 10% of the battery, so the range is about 160 kilometers. He announced 170, if I'm not mistaken, earlier, for the highway, really at 130. So there you go. We're pretty consistent with the values he announced and with reality. Fully charged at a highway rest area, the battery is at 100%. To get down to 0%, you'll be able to do 160 kilometers. That's the reality. And 50% with a big mix like that. So here I was telling you around 105 kilometers. Knowing that if we hadn't done so many highways, clearly we could have had much, much more range. Because now it's showing me it really took the mix into account. Over the last 100 kilometers, it's telling me I have 110 kilometers of range left before reaching 0%. And of course, in 5 or 7 kilometers, I'll exit and we'll get off the highway. And we'll take the secondary roads, which will already use much less. And in terms of consumption, that's what interests me the most. Here on this test today, I averaged 18 kilowatt hours per 100. Knowing that this takes into account the very low consumption we had earlier, around 13, which was really, really good. We can stay well under 13, even without much 110. Anyway, for me, it doesn't sound crazy. Even then, averaging 18 after over 60 kilometers at 130, it's still pretty good, but I see that I'm above 20. Constantly at 130 km/h, €6.30. All right, that's fine. Hey, quiet you. There we go. Perfect, like that, we'll have honestly done a really big stretch on the highway. And it really lets you get an idea of whether we can go far or if we can't go far. All that. I don't like people who judge without really trying. I like to do my own tests, get my real consumption. We keep going until we reach 0%. All right, let's do this. And I didn't use the autonomy planner at all, or the one that tells me where to recharge and so on. By the way, it's worrying because the place I need to go to find the little winding road is 70 kilometers from here. The dashboard tells me I have 100 kilometers of range, since it took into account exactly what we did earlier on the highway. And I know that I live more than 30 kilometers away, so logically, I'm not supposed to go home, but since I know that right now, on these small roads at 90 here, well, it's going to use a lot less. I have confidence. And normally, we should get to my place with around 5 to 10% left. Well, I hope so. But for the countryside and everything, it's just perfect. Little countryside girls, you should know that in the countryside, this car, it's so great. If you only have roads at 80, 90 like this to drive on every day to go to work, I totally recommend an electric car. And even an electric car like this with a small battery, which will be more than enough for every day. Honestly, in the countryside, we don't need a big range. If you have a second car, for example, for frequent vacations and long trips, that's perfect for daily use. But if you frequently travel across France, choose more of an electric car with a big battery. But for daily use, going to work, going shopping, even if the shopping is 50 kilometers away and it's only small roads, clearly, it'll do the job just fine. You can recharge at home with an Électricité de France contract that gives you 50% off at night, so it costs almost nothing. Clearly, I think we're at 10 cents per kilowatt hour at night with Électricité de France and the right contract, which comes to €4 for 300 kilometers. That's unbeatable. That's unbeatable. And actually, it helps you save money. We have tires that wear out less because they're electric vehicle tires. So in the end, they wear out a little less. Smooth driving doesn't always strain tires. You don't wear out the brakes. You don't wear out the brake pads. There are no checkups. There's no oil. There's none of this, none of that. It's getting interesting. You could take the affordable small lease with a purchase option if you don't want to buy it outright. Honestly, I was looking at this model here, €280 per month. It's pretty interesting. Honestly, I think it's great, really. I'm honestly even thinking about getting one for myself, for real. Because when I look at the taxes on my company, I tell myself, why not, for real? I'm unhappy with my Twingo. And that's still really cool. It makes me think. because I made you a little debrief video about my Twingo. And honestly, the Twingo, this isn't great, but this is really good. For $280 monthly via the company, which honestly divides my taxes and everything, because it's counted as an expense for the company. It's like it actually costs me, if I paid for it myself, half as much. So let's say 160 euros. No, I didn't calculate exactly, but around 140 euros. That's not unreasonable. It's something to think about, honestly. A little roundabout. So there's really no one here, which is nice. All right, let's go. Little roundabout, let's go. Honestly, good road handling. It's impressive that it has good steering control. If I tell it to turn, it turns quickly. Hop, honestly, it's pretty good. And even when picking up the pace, hop, there's a slight understeer, but it's not too bad. Even when changing direction, the seats stay comfortable and dynamic. I feel well supported. This car is awesome. The R5, honestly. Renault, you really nailed it. I'm saying it now. I said it before. I really like this car. It looks incredible. It's comfortable inside, and the sound is great with the Harman audio system. There are all the driving aids. Everything is included. Good. I can't wait to try the small battery version. Small engine. And really not expensive. I would really like them to release an upgrade at Renault, even if it won't be the bulk of the sales, but to really be able to try out the stripped-down version, the cheapest one. I'll show you if they release one. Fingers crossed. Well, it's 1 o'clock. I've been driving for quite a while now. I'm on my road with 19% battery left. 61 kilometers. We haven't tried sport mode yet. Come on, let's switch to sport mode. Which makes both the lighting and dashboards red. And a little more acceleration. A firmer steering. So it accelerates just as much as in comfort mode. It grips the road really well. I'm just as surprised as last time. It's been a while since I drove an R5. Oops, my phone went for a ride. So the acceleration is more than enough. It's not sporty. On the other hand, the chassis is still quite impressive. And so if you really want the sporty version, you go for the Alpine, which was absolutely amazing. But honestly, right now, it's more than enough. Honestly, this car impresses me. Even under hard braking, it performs well. And since this one isn't too heavy, it makes a difference. The SP works very well. And how do you turn off the running? I braked hard to warn those behind. It holds up well, pretty impressive. Honestly, I love this car. It's absolutely top-notch. 42 kilometers to home, 54 kilometers of range left. That should be enough considering there's still some highway. Haha. Well, come on, let's cross our fingers. I forgot to show you the rundown part of the road. Well, here it is. There are patches everywhere and so on. The car handles well. You can feel that it has a solid chassis. Rigid, but the suspension is a well-tuned suspension that's neither too firm nor too soft. I think it's a really good compromise that gives us comfort and at the same time, a dynamic chassis. All right, now I'm leaving from the place where I did the static presentation at the beginning. I have 15% left. It's showing exactly 50 kilometers of range left. She asked me, have you thought about eco mode? And I have 43 kilometers to go. I think it's gonna be tight, really tight. So you know what? I'm going to listen to it. I'm going to put it in eco mode, but eco mode doesn't change anything for me. It always says you have 50 kilometers left. I'm a player. I'm very much a player. The thing is here, there's no Renault assistance that will come help me if something happens. So I'm crossing my fingers. I'm crossing my fingers. No, it should be fine. There are some charging stations near my place just in case, but they're slower. Still, I hope the charging station I'm heading to will work with the card I have, because that's yet another thing. That's another detail. I took a card that should work almost everywhere, just in case. All right, let's try it. The planner was telling me to stop before reaching the charging station where I want to go, or if I know it's a fast one. It's now saying you'll arrive with 0 and have insufficient range, even predicting -2%, which isn't possible. It's showing 36 kilometers, but the car says I have 47 kilometers of range. So I tell myself it's taking into account that there are sections at 110, 130, and so on. So I'm going to try where it's 130 and 110 to go at 90 to see if I managed to go there. In the end, I played it safe with 7% left. I see a rest area and a McDonald's, and I'm getting hungry since it's 2:15. I still have 6% left, though. That's still 28 kilometers of range left. And from what I understood, there are charging stations here. So let's go check it out. At least this one. I'm sure it's a fast charger, and it'll let us relax for a bit. All right, there's no one here. That's pretty cool. And this one goes up to 175 kilowatts. So how many kilometers did I do then? I drove 228 kilometers with this small 40 kilowatt hour battery, including about 70 or 80 kilometers at 130 kAh. It was showing 300 kilometers in the real conditions, on a small mix, but still counting less highway driving, with more at 110, 90 earlier. At 110, it didn't use much after all, so it turned out well. But there are still 28 kilometers left. I could have taken a risk. I realized it would look bad to call Renault and apologized. I tried testing the range but messed up, even though it might have worked. In the end, since I drove at 90 kilometers per hour instead of 130 or 110, it told me I would arrive at the charging station I chose with 2% left. I sometimes take risks, but only when supervised and others are nearby. But honestly, this car is great for daily use. It costs less than the big battery version. Is it really worth getting the big battery or not? Yes, if you take longer trips. Otherwise, honestly, this one does the job just fine for daily use. Going to work, picking up the kids, going to activities, and so on. Vacationing is more complicated, but it may still be worth mentioning. I drive a small car year-round with a cheaper lease-to-own option. And in the summer, for example, if you lack a second car for long trips, you can rent one, use BlaBlaCar, or just take the train. We adapt, but for daily life. Great. Do I recommend it? Yeah, definitely. For, I think, 80% of people, this car will do the job. Clearly, if you travel a lot by plane and you travel a lot abroad, your car stays at home. If you travel far in France without always driving, you take the train. It works well. Clearly, I think we impose constraints on ourselves that we don't necessarily have all the time. So a small battery with a car with a nice look, a very good chassis, and so on. Clearly for me, yes. All right, now I'm going to test. Is it going to work, the charging? How does it work, the charging? I usually have a card. They gave me one. I'll stop now. All right, come on. I'll take you with me. Let's see if it works. So, if I remember correctly, you have to get your little cable. Oh, no, actually, not even that. It's a fast charging station, so normally I just have to do this. Remove my little fast charging thing. Will the cable reach over there? I hope so. And so, I think, how does it work? First? Okay. I have a little card in there. Mobilize. We scan here. She tells me. What is she telling me? I don't have any information there. That it worked? How do I choose my language? Welcome, start, first connect. Check the conditions, connect. I think we connect here. I rarely do full charges either. There we go. That. Okay, keep your radio frequency identification card, okay? I beep. It checks. It glitched. I admit that sometimes the charging stations, it's not always reliable. Okay, I'll check again. I connected. Please. Scan your card. You are not authorizing the charge. I think my card isn't working. Verifying. The mobilized card doesn't work here. Well, since I'm prepared, I have another charge map card. Let's see if it works here. Are you charging? Yes, the charge map card works. Preparing. Well, I'm not going to charge much. I'll try to find another station because it's more expensive here. It's getting ready to communicate with the car. This takes a little time each time. Then I'll need my charge map to be able to stop. So right now I'm at 6%. And it's charging. It's already going up to 60 kilowatts right away. 81 kilowatts. It's already going up pretty quickly. It's running, already up to 7%, just gained 1%. Honestly, fast charging. It still goes up pretty well, 80. Honestly, that's already a good charging speed for such a small battery. Knowing that it's 80 kilowatts, that would mean to recharge 40 kilowatt hours. Well, it would take half an hour. Yeah, that's enough. I'll go eat in the meantime. Here we're charging at 80. Here you can see that we're charging at 80 kilowatts. Remember to charge it. You can still drive about 40 kilometers. Thanks, but I can see it's charging here. I'm already at 12%. Honestly, it's really fast, about 50 minutes to fully charge. Honestly, it's great. And 31 minutes to reach 80%. So after that, doing 20% still takes 20 minutes. While here, 70% takes just 30 minutes. We rarely discuss prices. For instance, I decided to use the fastest charging station here. Since I charge only up to 80, I end up paying more. I'm at 68.3 per kilowatt hour started here. Whereas if I had connected next door, for example, to a 50, well, I would have paid 57. There was nothing between the two. But if I'm not really in a hurry, I can take the station next to it, which still cost me 10 cents less per kilowatt. Being away from home makes a difference. Yeah, because at home, with Électricité de France, it can cost 10 cents per kilowatt, whereas here I'm at 68, almost 70. It's 7 times more expensive than charging at home on a fast charger. So, what's the cost here? It's a total, I think. Total energies. So ideally, it's best to charge at home. Otherwise, it charges well. But I'm already at 21% in just 4 minutes. But it's pricey. I plan to keep the R5 a few days. I'll give you a little debrief when I bring it back. I'm going to bring it back in a bit, and I got some calls and everything in the meantime. I forgot, I meant to finish the video inside to show the actual city fuel consumption. From the last charging station recharge until I bring it back, I was at 11.4 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, and I did about 130 kilometers again, which is really very interesting. Which also means that you can easily do 300 kilometers if you're driving in the city. That's good news. 11 times 3 is 33. With a 40 kilowatt hour battery, you still have some margin left. So this R5 for everyday life is really not bad at all. I definitely approve of this little R5. Small battery if you live in the city, near a big city, or even in the countryside. Honestly, we rarely cover 300 kilometers in a single day. If you go over 300 kilometers, you can take a short break to, for example, go 400 if the road is a bit smoother and so on. So honestly, it works for 98% of uses year-round. If you need to travel far, you can rent a car, take the train, or find another solution when you arrive. You'll figure it out, right? So the small battery, that's just a lame excuse to me. If you can't charge it at home every night, it's a hassle. But if you can, it's easier. Clearly, I'll take it. All right, give a little thumbs up, like all that stuff. And let me know in the comments what you think about it. Small battery or big battery? 1,000 kilometers of range, is that enough? That's still a big debate for us. See you soon. Bye.